Okay, let's go ahead and get started. We're starting a few minutes late. I apologize for that. My name is Daniel Dimacale. I'm coming to you live from Newport Beach, and this is our worldwide online direct distributor training. And by the way, we are doing this every single month, so we're sort of like trying to be the GPS to your success in this business, okay? So let's go ahead and get started and move forward. And by the way, we have tonight we have a great venue. I've got a couple of great guests, top producers in the industry, also with great materials. And so do me a favor, give yourself about an hour of quiet time if you really are interested in learning how to build a very successful business and how to explode your 2011, all right? Give yourself some private time. Take this seriously. Have a pen and paper ready so that you can take down some notes, because we're going to be flying through this, and a lot of the materials are spectacular. So let's go ahead and move forward, okay? Before we dive in, I want to show you why this is a massive opportunity for you, all right? Why Enagic, this whole thing that you're involved in, or if you're brand new and looking at this for the first time, we want to show you why this is huge, okay? First of all, I'm going to show it to you from a consulting viewpoint. Why is this big? I believe you're involved, or we are involved in a trend. Actually, it's a mega trend. And by the way, what are trends? Trends are something that everyone will be involved in, or something everyone will own. It's something that's about to explode in the industry, and it's a direction of movement, sort of a flow, all right? And it's normally created by word of mouth, whether through media, the news, the radio, internet, whatever. It's created by word of mouth, and something that people are, passing on to other people. Let me show you how trends start. They begin on the bottom right there. There's where a trend begins, on the very bottom. And then it has sort of a, it's moving forward, and it's starting to gain momentum because people start telling people, and if you multiply it by the numbers, it starts to grow very big. And then there's an area, once it reaches approximately a 3 to 5% saturation, this is in marketing, then it explodes, okay? Now, normally, that is where the money is made, right there, all right? However, very few people get involved. Less than 0.5% of the people, get involved in the front end of a trend. Very, very few. A very fortunate few. They find out by accident. They find out through a friend or through word of mouth, okay? And then there's that area, 1 and 1/2%, where people make big money. Big money, because that is when the momentum is accelerated, all right? And then the 98% of the people get involved or find out about it on the tail end. Now, let me show you some things. Back in 76, no one owned a microwave. Back in 81, 86, I mean, you can see I'm not talking about a fad here, by the way, or some kind of a gimmick like a pet rock or something. We're talking about something that everybody will eventually be involved in, all right? I'll give you an example. Why don't we try Facebook? Let's look at the latest one. 5-10 years ago, no one was on Facebook. How about today? Are you? Same thing with a flat screen TV. 5-10 years ago, it was unheard of. Nobody owned it. How about today? Do you? What I'm trying to tell you is, understand what trends are, and if you find something no one has that everybody will have, that's how a trend happens, okay? Right now, we are there. Right there. You are in it hasn't even started yet. Let's be realistic, okay? They're talking about a 3 to 5% saturation point before it creates momentum. You're not even close to that. There's less than, 100, 200,000 people that actually own an ionizer in the U.S. market, Canadian market, and in Mexico. I mean, we're not even a drop in the ocean. It's not even there yet. It's not showing up on radar. So I want to show you this because I believe you're looking at the next consumer product. I don't care where you're from in the world right now, I believe you're looking at the next microwave oven. You're looking at the next compactor. You're looking at the next product that almost all kitchens will have in the U.S. market. All right? Now, let's take a look at this. So that's why it's big. Now, let's take a look at a little bit about Enagic. And I'm going to go through this quick. We all know this. All right? But Enagic is strong. The one thing about, if you're going to connect yourself with a company, make sure it's a company that is solid as a rock, not some company that's 1, 2, or 3 years old. If you're looking at something that's 2 years or younger, let me give you a run away from it. Even some of my best friends, like Doran Andre, who's the one of the top earners in Herbalife, didn't get involved till 2, 3 years later. Even one of my good friends, Jeff Roberti from NSA, didn't come in till 87, 88. They started way back, okay? So what I'm trying to tell you is the major earners in the biggest companies do not come in the front end. Only the scams. All the ones that tell you, oh, you'll be the first one in. Only the ones that claim you'll earn the most money because you're the first one there, which means it's a pyramid program, all right? Those are the ones that, well, anyway, Enagic, absolutely solid. It's got all the awards, okay? And for the new people, go to Enagic.com. All the lights are green for entrepreneurs. This is an entrepreneurial chart that you place on top of a project, okay? Is it new or old? Is it rock solid or new? What are their products like? Do you have to sell the products? Do you have to explain to somebody that this product, this whatever, comes from, the south of, South Africa? It comes from the Yaba Yaba plant, from the witch doctor of Zuhulu. Do you have to explain all this crap? All right? Or is it a product that everyone knows about? That's why this is big. There's not too many people on earth that don't know the word water. So just think about it. That's why you'll never see another one of these again. Okay? This is a direct sales program. What does this mean? You can earn money without recruiting someone. Direct sales means the company deals directly with the consumer. Some of us pick up the machines for a consumer, but the company still no distributor holds product in the garage to be able to sell to someone. Doesn't work that way, because to buy one, the company has to process that sale right there. All right, it's not one of these multi-level, door-to-door, rinky-dink, pyramid, last business you get into before you commit suicide kind of thing. It is the real program. There's no distributor fee. There's no application fee. There's no, products being delivered to your house, whether you like it or not. The marketing plan doesn't have a left side or a right side that you have to balance, and all these gimmicks out there. It is a direct sales program. And for a real entrepreneur, for a real business owner, for a real independent contractor, okay, and for a real seasoned sales professional, this is the best. There's nothing better out there. Now, take a look at the average earning last year. Not last year. 2009. From January of 2009 till October. That's where we got these figures from. Look at the earnings. Couldn't you it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And today, there are more people earning more money. Now, does that mean that you'll earn money or everybody? No. The people that believe in the program, that work the program, that learn the correct procedures and are focused on one program will earn probably more money than they've ever earned in their lifetime. So, and the hardest part has been built. We're talking about the infrastructure. That is the hardest part in any business. You know what? There's other products out there. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's say they're identical as Enagic. same everything. The infrastructure to be able to sign up an application, have the delivery made, get paid in 10 to 14 days, have a financing that's there, all the pieces, all the bonuses. You're not going to find another one like this. And regarding other projects, because some of us take a look at other projects, and you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. You know, but you know, when somebody's trying to tell you this product, it rides, you know, it's perfect because you need the water and you need this, and together, you notice they're all trying to get together. They're all trying to use the success of Enagic. That's the way it is. That's the way it works. So there's nothing wrong with that. But you need to educate yourself. You happen to have the best product in the world. You happen to get the best. Look at this training. There's no company that does this training. So you're getting the best training, okay? Now let me ask you something. When a person doesn't make money and leaves the program, okay, goes to another program, gets another product, they get another fishing pole, they leave the pond with all these fish that are trained, they go get another fishing pole. Where would you go to fish? You're going to look for another pond? No, you go back where the best fish are, and this is the best. They're getting trained like beyond belief. And by the way, people try to destroy the company. I heard this one yo-yo the other day. Some doctor guy who does trainings on the website. Okay, I don't want to say his name, but he's telling one of my friends that you know, Enagic is bad, Enagic is this, only because he didn't make money in it. You know what I mean? Most of the people that say something bad about this firm, they're not making money in it. So they're going to say something bad to try to get other people. And you can't build a good marriage by destroying somebody else's. It doesn't work that way. So the ones I feel bad for are the new people. Okay? So make sure that you inoculate your new people. They're the ones, they're not going to come to me or Bob Gradelli or Eli or Joe Florence. They're not going to go to Jerry Costica or Romy Verdera or Jeannie Basso. No, why? Those are not newbies. They're not new babies. They can't go over there and do their, you know, rape, pillage, and plunder stunts, okay? They got to go to the new people, you know? So again, watch out for the other ones out there. And I'm on that because there's a lot of programs out there, you know, that are just destroying the careers of people in Enagic because they think there's something better there. Because if you keep doing this one, you're going to hit. All right? So quit going to looking to all these other ones. And they fish here. Some of the other distributors come here. It's weird. But we share a product everyone knows and uses, water. The samples are free. You get paid daily. And the company's rock solid. Now, somebody's going to go to an Enagic distributor and talk them into going to a program where they have to sell a product because nobody knows about this juju plant from, you know, Wada Wada, okay? And no one knows or uses. The samples cost them money. They get paid monthly, and it's new and risky. How can they do that? Well, they can do that with new people, uneducated people, and people that are, and I hate to say it, but they're sort of ignorant because they don't know any better. They can't go to, they got to go to those people, and I feel bad for them, you know. So make sure that you understand what you're in. You are in the top program. Be committed, be focused. You know, the one thing I've always learned about all the successful people that I know, all the successful people I know, they basically have one common denominator, you know, and you'll see it in a little while. But the bottom line is this is a product-driven program, not opportunity-driven, and, you know, it's a real business with real products. Now, I'm going to help you create a positive dominant effect for the decade. Remember, 2011 is the first year. I don't know if you know this or not. You know, when you first wake up in the morning, the first 3 to 5 people you meet will normally dictate your whole day. Did you know that? Did you know the first decade, the first year of a decade will normally follow it? Did you know that January and February, whatever you do, will normally dictate your year? It's just the way it is. So I want you to see how to create a phenomenal decade by starting out with creating your best year in 2011. And I want to emphasize the word create, okay? Because let me tell you this, okay? If you're going to have your best year this year, let me give you hint number one. It ain't going to happen by accident. All right? Some people crack me up. They're going to have the best year. Why? Just because you said so? You know, don't forget the 11th commandment. Thou shalt not kid thyself. So again, it will not happen by accident. You must create it. You must develop it. You must be the sculptor, and you must be the designer and the artist to your year, because it will not happen by accident. Why do people have good year and bad years? Okay? First of all, they lack the understanding. Understand that the entire year depends on every month. We're not talking about having your best moment or best day. You're going to have bad days throughout the year. You're going to have good days, okay? But it doesn't mean one thing. Hey, what if you earned $1 million but you get in an accident and your family died? Did you have a good year? Heck no. I mean, hey, what if you got a Ferrari this year, but you know, you got your 10th DUI ticket and they took away your license? Did you have a good year because you got a Ferrari? No, it doesn't work that way. You need all the pieces. You need January, you need June, you need July, you need December, you need a good Valentine's Day, you need to have spiritual, you need to have health. You know, hey, what if you had a great year in Enagic, but in December they found out you had a problem and they gave you, 10 days to live? Did you have a good year? No. So again, understand it takes the entire year to make a good. See, lack of understanding. The next thing is they don't know how. You know, if I ask you, some people say, hey, I'm going to go to Hawaii. When? I don't know. How? I don't know. You're not going to Hawaii. All right? If you come to me and tell me you're going to be a doctor and I ask you how and you say, I don't know, well, you're not going to be a doctor. So again, whether you're planning a wedding, a party, a career choice, okay, like I said before, how are you going to do it? How? And why is it going to happen? Why? If you cannot answer those two, you're going to have your normal year, all right? You know, your normal whatever year. It's one of those things. So 3, lack of vehicle. People have the desire, they want to learn how, but they're in that no way Jose bus. It'll never happen. Okay? You've been in some programs. I saw some of these people go into a program, Mona, I don't want to say the name. I already said half of it. But anyway, I felt bad for the people that were going there. We looked at it. I looked at it. You can see it's a no way Jose bus. Anyway, it's no good. Okay, and look what happened to all the people that went there. They all died, So for a spectacular 2011, you're going to need the desire, you're going to need the commitment, you need the knowledge, and you need the action. Now you notice I didn't put vehicle there. Why? Because you already have the vehicle. You are in the best project, but you got to be in it all year. I'm not talking about working 365 days, but I'm talking about being in it 365 days. Okay? You cannot let excuses, some people weren't able to go to a training class like this. By the time you finish tonight, if somebody couldn't go to a $5 training class, you don't want to make money. Let's be real. If you want to make money, you'll do what it takes to do it. All right? So if you got people that are saying, I can't be there, please. All right? This is a product-driven program. It's not opportunity. We share the water. We create a daily habit of this. And by the way, if you don't have anyone on the water, you can't get anyone to the meetings. If you can't get anyone to the meetings, you're going to have a hard time selling or creating an organization. All right? And for all the distributors that are looking at this, that have all these problems and issues and whatever, okay, did you know that all of your problems can be solved just by finding 5 new people to give water to? Think about it. What if you have 5 new people tomorrow? A mailman, a car salesman, a retired guy, a doctor, and some young sales dude, okay? What if you got 5 people on the water this week, new, I know that's hard, but that's how easy the problem is to solve, okay? Imagine that. So again, understand that this program, okay, you have 3 skills. This is all we need to learn. 1, you need to learn how to, share the product. You got to look for people to share the product with. How do you do that? Well, I got a friend that's going to show it to you, and he's one of the best. But just look for, you meet people every day, and then share the opportunity. Look for entrepreneurs that might be looking for something. Do you know how many people, did you see how many people are being laid off at Boeing? Do you see Governor Brown in California, the jobs he's cutting? Do you see all the teachers being laid off? I mean, there are people looking out there. Figure out a way to tap some of them, all right, and share the opportunity, and then all of your distributors get them to these events such as this, getting them to meetings like this, and then if you're going to become big, you want to teach and duplicate, all right? So, but the main thing is, if somebody's going to buy the unit, you got to have them on the water, or you're going to be selling. And it's a lot easier for them to be on the water. But remember, your objective is not to be a distributor that gives out water out there for free. You're here to make money by selling the products. You sell the products by giving the water away to people, letting them try it. But you got to watch out for people who are on the product too long that you're giving, okay? But then, after I said that, I just want to let you know, one of the guys that I've been trying to recruit for 3 years, I gave him water for 1 year, sent him to Torrance. He's been getting their water there for 2 years for free. Finally, he's coming into the business this week. So, take that one and figure it out. Decipher that one. I don't really know what I'm trying to tell you there, but just be cool with the ones that you don't think have no potential. Now, the person that shares the most water, they're going to sell the most units. Organization that shares the most water, if you teach your people to duplicate that, because that's very easy to duplicate, those people are going to produce the most sales, okay? And because of that, whoever does that, they're going to build the largest organizations. And basically, the distributors that does these 3 things the most will earn some of the top dollars that Enagic has to offer. All right? Now, in sharing the opportunity, basically, get them to a meeting. All right? And for the people trying to do demos, that's great, but you know what? Learn it first, because, if they see you and then you're going to try to show it to them again, it's already a dead issue. So the best is get them to a live meeting. The best to me is home demos, by the way. Okay, get your sponsor to do the home demo with a group of yours there, or the global online telecast, or maybe a DVD. If you can't bring someone to the meeting, if you can't bring a meeting to their house, then get the meeting in their hands and give them a DVD. But you need to share the opportunity with the people who want to earn the money. Okay? Last thing is marketing plan basics. This is remember this, it is not a pyramid type structure. If you notice, none of the lanes that's created grow exponential. You got a maximum of so much on each distributor. All right? And if you learn the marketing plan, number 1, Enagic does not pay by levels. They pay by points. And as long as there are points, they will pay each level that's due those points. Sometimes it's 2 levels, sometimes it's 5, sometimes it's 6, sometimes it's 1. So one thing for sure, all right? It doesn't pay by levels. Number 2, there's no exponential growth on any of the lanes. So you have to continue to build your business. It's a real business. This is not one of those things where you're supposed to sponsor 5 people and money will come forever. You know that promise that never appears? I bet you the people that are watching this, it's never appeared for 99% of you. All right? This one is a real program. They promise you a real ending of a great 6-figure business, but you got to continue to work it. All right? And I don't want to go through this. There's the point system. Here's what I know why I wanted to show you this. See that last line where it says special bonus 50 bucks? You gotta continue to sell a unit every 90 days to get that 50 bucks, and that's 50 bucks per point, because the actual commission is 235. You know, it's not 285. It's not 570. The actual commission on a 2-point agent is 470. You get the 250s because you sold a unit every 90 days. The actual commission on a 4A agent is $940. It's not $1140. You get the extra $200 because you're 4A. 4 times $50 is $200. To get that special bonus, you must sell every 90 days, okay? Also, when you finance it through Enagic, they only give you the points. They don't give you the actual commission until it's paid off. Now, here's the marketing plan. Your target is to get to 6A. Everybody, once you get to 6A, your target is to go back to 1A again and go to 6A over and over and over and over again. There's the game. One more time. You're here to go from 1A to 6A. Everybody can do that. Let me tell you what everybody forgets to do. They forget to reset again and go from 1A to 6A again. They think once they get to 6A, it's over. No. Once you get to 6A, you now get to the opportunity to multiply your earnings by a bazillion times. Why? Because you're going to go back to 1A, except you are getting paid $17.10 a crack instead of $285. So you're picking up everything as you're going to 6A. Why don't some of you try that? Some of the people that are 6As, why don't you try that? Go 6A again on 1710. Take a look at where that whirlwind takes you. So again, there's the game plan. As far as the $50, okay, when you sell, if you're a 1A, you get 50 bucks. If you're a 2A, 100, and so on. You get $50 per point if you finance it on the Enagic system. Why? Because number one, they're very light on credit check. Number two, they deliver the equipment immediately, and they're taking a risk. So you get paid the points, and you get paid the back end. Why is this important to you? Because it creates a receivable, which is the most important thing in a business. I don't care if you're a restaurant, an accounting, it doesn't matter. The number one most important thing in a traditional business is receivables. You have to create them because it creates for savings, continuous income. It creates frequent surprises. There's money that comes in, and all the people that's been doing the business a while, ask any of them, they get checks daily or weekly that they didn't know about because these were sold 16 months ago. It's the best thing that'll happen to you. To achieve your first goal, if you're brand new, that's what you want to do. If you're a distributor that's been here a while, that's what you want to do with the person that you bring in the business. And then you want to continue to help their people below and move sideways. You got to move sideways to create override lanes. You know, I think on Friday, between Friday and Saturday, we picked up like 50-some checks. 55, I don't know. Imagine that, 55 checks. Did you know that there's people this year that have a job that will only get 52 checks? Can you imagine that? So to get the 55 checks, why did that happen? It's because I have a lot of lanes that I'm getting overrides on. I created lanes sideways. That's what creates the daily overrides, okay? Don't be one of these 6As that live on the monthly bonuses only. No, those are extra, okay? Be a 6A that is producing because they keep going 6A and they're doing it on 1710, all right? The last thing we do, we promote events. That's what we do. And you want to go to all the events. I don't care. Yeah, some of them are expensive. I understand. I think some of them, some of them people are making money as a result of the events. But you know what? Hey, more power to them, okay? Because the events gets people together. It bonds you to the business. So for all the people creating events, I don't care if you charge $5 or $200, okay? It's irrelevant. My hat's off to you, because
to create an event, it's like a nightmare, you know. It's unbelievable. It's like having a wedding or something, you know. Some of the events we create, it's like having a wedding and a kid. It's unbelievable. So anyway, all right, promote and sell the events, okay? Now, production checkpoints. I'm going to give you your checkpoints for the people that want to learn this, okay? If you're not selling units, let's say you're not selling units. Here, let me give you the problem with your vehicle. It's one of these. You don't have prospects on the water. You're not anchoring, which means you're not getting those prospects who you have on the water to give their contacts, their relatives, their cousins, their friends water. If you miss one of those, you're going to have a hard time. I understand. Next, you're not getting the prospect to a live demo, which means you're going to have to ask them to buy. Because if you get them to a live demo, the person doing the demo is going to ask your person to buy. So you never have to say anything. Miss one of those three, you're in trouble. If you're having a hard time, it's one of those three. You connect those three with every single person that you bring in, you're gonna have no problem. Okay? Next, you're focused on selling instead of sharing. And also, if you're sharing water with a lot of people, you'll be able to share a lot. But when you start selling and you're not sharing, now you got to sell because, well, now you're under pressure. You got to get some money. So you're looking for a person to slam dunk and sell. You know, I got you. Okay? And you're going after the wrong market. For some of you that are going with anybody, you can't just say anybody. You know, you want to increase your percentages, go for entrepreneurs. You want to increase your percentages, go for people that you know that could use the water, okay? If your organization is not growing, you're not doing number one, right? Remember, number one, here. You're not doing enough of that. That was number one, okay? Then, you're not helping your new recruit. You're recruiting people and leaving them alone, which means you're doing one of them Hail Mary passes in the end zone and hoping somebody will catch a ball, okay? Also, you don't have any leaders, so you want to look for leaders. They're out there. I was just talking to Michael Canet and Jerry Costico. We were talking about how Eli was so fortunate on picking up Bill Drabianco from Phoenix, and I said, they're out there. I don't think the top earner in Enagic has been recruited yet. I don't think the top distributor is in the system yet. Okay? So, and also, you've not created a team concept. You're trying to do it by yourself. So, if your team is not plugged in, okay, if you're not plugging your team into these events, well, yeah, your organization's not going to grow. So, the leaders out there have to do their thing. Now, these are things that will blow you out. Stop sharing the water. Stop promoting the program. Premature full-time. You got to cut that out, okay? If you have a job, stay on your job. Stay on your job until you give everybody their water. So if you're working for Boeing, you should be there for about 42 years, okay? Unrealistic expectations. Don't be thinking you're going to earn like Bobby or one of these guys, you know, or Eli or Romy who came in and just blazed the trail. No, be a real business. So what if you earned, you know, big money in 2 years? That's okay too. Relying on others. Don't be relying on others, okay? Keep creating people. So if the people you're relying on don't make it, no big deal. And then quit going on training mode. For the people that are trying to do training mode, it's okay if your building mode is more money than your training mode. Once you're making more money on training than you're building, you got a problem there. You just stepped on a landmine. It's about to explode your left leg. Okay? Doubt. If you have doubt or when your passion runs out. Those are the landmines. The key to making your Enagic business successful, basically, is doing the simple things consistently. Alright? Now, what I'm going to do at this time is I'm going to put on Jerry. He's going to show you about the product because it's about doing product, right? He's going to show you how to share the product. Also, knowing the product, as far as, you know, the product basics, okay? So he'll give it to you, he'll show you all of this, be paying attention, take notes, because we're flying here tonight, okay? And put your pen on, like overdrive. All right, be back in a minute.
All right, thank you. Hey everybody. All right, Daniel, thank you very much. We're going to fly through this, so I'm not going to stop the pace at all. I'm going to be talking to you about the product, but not like the, connect the hose to this and turn on this and drop your drops in. What I'm going to talk to you about are really the things that, as a distributor, these are the things that you really need to know, okay? These are kind of like the little secret stuff that once you're in this for a little while, you'll find out more. And you'll find out just how important it is to know these things, okay? So, first thing, this is very important. This is a new technology, okay? It's being introduced into this marketplace. Most people are unfamiliar with it. And this is just like any other technology that's been introduced to this marketplace, okay? It can sometimes be overwhelming to begin with. But it's just like anything. If you think about when you got your very first cell phone, or if you've gotten a new cell phone lately, it's like overwhelming, all the things that it does. When you first got that VCR, how long did that thing blink? 12 before you finally figured out how to set the time, okay? There's things that are overwhelming, but we learn how to adapt and utilize them. So the first thing you have to understand is you really don't be intimidated by the machine or the technology, okay? Learn the basics first. Learn how to use the machine. The functions, all the different buttons. Push them. This is a very durable machine, so it's okay for you to put it through its paces. Find out what the machine does. Test the water, see what comes out of the hoses, test everything up, get familiar and comfortable with it, and the easiest way to do that is through usage, okay? So don't be intimidated by this technology. This is like everything else. If you're intimidated today, 6 months from now, this is going to be second nature to you, okay? So cut to the chase. Just let it become second nature to you fast. Because again, you don't have to be overwhelmed by the technology. All you need to do is learn how to drink the water, okay? And one thing too is cleaning your machine. We're finding out more and more, especially if you're a distributor, how important it is for a person to make sure that their machine is cleaned and cleaned regularly, because it's going to help ensure that the quality of your water is what it should be for sampling purposes, okay? All right, let's continue on. And we're going to talk about real quick the operation manual and the advantages catalog that come with the machine. These are some things that if you haven't looked at, especially if you're a new person, you really should, okay? The operation manual, this is something that there's little secrets and things in there, tips about using your machine and using the technology and using the waters that can be very advantageous. So we want to make sure that you really, take a look at that, thumb through it a little bit before you tuck that away into a dark corner someplace or in your bookshelf. Look through it a little bit and get familiar a little bit more. The advantages catalog, I love this thing. This has like over 50 different ways that the waters can be used, the different pH levels of the waters and how they can be used. Like beauty water being used to boil pasta. If you don't read this, you might not just naturally assume that that's what you would be using that water for. So make sure that you look at the advantages catalog to get some of these other tips and hints of how to best utilize the water and really maximize what the machine has to offer you. All right, here's some installation tips. And these are always good just to make sure that if you are going to do an installation, that you can give the customer really what they deserve, which is your best. That's what they deserve. So, you want to get familiar again, and when you have a new machine, practice doing an installation. Take it off and put it back on again, and get kind of familiar with the way everything feels and the way things screw into the aerators and all that kind of stuff. Get familiar with it and actually practice a little bit. Get yourself a little kit, okay? Some adapters, pliers, some basic things that you might need. Stan has the Ultimate Adapter Set, which is a fantastic adapter set available on 6atools.com. You want to put together a little kit for yourself, especially, now, 2 reasons, okay? One is if you're going to be doing installations, you want to make sure you have these things with you. But the second one is so that when you are doing installations, the person that you're doing the installation for can see that you have this kit. so that if that person decides to become a distributor, you have already set a foundation of what they should do in order to be successful with their installations, which is to also have a kit. Okay? So not only are you doing it for your own reasons, but it's actually an indirect training method that you, by example, you're showing the people who want to become distributors, who end up becoming distributors, what they should be doing and the kind of things they should be utilizing as far as tools are concerned. One little tip for everybody is carry a quarter with you, okay? Because if you actually, once you put the adapter onto the faucet, a quarter fits perfectly up in underneath the slots, so it's easier for you to turn and tighten than to try to use like a screwdriver or something. Okay, so that's one of those little secret tips of people that have done this a lot of times. Okay, so make sure you have a quarter with you. One of the other adapters that we highly recommend, it's a Brasscraft number 0018. It's a dishwasher aerator adapter that's available at Lowe's. So if I highly recommend this one. I went cross country. It worked in every hotel that we stayed at. That was kind of our saving grace when it came to making sure we had an adapter that worked pretty much anywhere we went. So in addition to the adapter sets, I also highly recommend having one of those as well. All right, here's another thing that comes along with your machine. And some of the stuff, you might know that it came with your machine, but unfortunately, you might not know it came with your machine. And that's the reason we're covering this, is because a lot of people, unfortunately, do not go through the packet of information that comes with their machine. I highly recommend that anybody who gets a machine goes through that packet of info and really looks at what they've received. And they pull some of these things out and they utilize them, especially at the beginning, so they can get familiar with the functionality of the machine. Okay? This is the operational chart. I call it the cheat sheet. This is when you first have your machine, it will let you know if you push this button, what's it for? And if you push this button, what's that one for? So it's a great idea to have this available so you can, again, get familiar with the machine and the way that it works. Now on the opposite side of that cheat sheet, there's a water uses. This is kind of a really condensed version of that larger advantages catalog. So this one has just a few different uses for each one of the waters. But again, it's like a really handy reference chart that allows you to, when you're getting started with this, be more familiar with what waters do what, and how should I use each one, and how's it really going to benefit me. So having this out and available is extremely important, especially if a person's going to be utilizing this on an ongoing basis. Alrighty. Now we're going to cover a couple of features specifically of the SD501. There are also some of the features on some of the other machines, but we're mainly talking about the SD501. They kind of are head scratchers. They make you say, The first one is the calcium cylinder. Now, this is a small little like plug dial thing that is right above the enhancer tank on the right-hand side of your machine. Now, it says open and close. If you put it to open, you're not doing yourselves any favor, okay? All that is, that's a locking mechanism, okay? So open allows you to take that plug out. Close makes sure it's locked. So if you put it in the open position, what you're actually going to be doing is allowing water pressure to start building up behind it and push that plug out. And that plug can pop right out and you can get water all over the place. So the best thing to do is don't mess with it, okay? You probably will not need to utilize what that's for. It's just an inherent piece on the machine. What it's used for is if you are in an area that does not have a suitable amount of minerals in the water for ionization to occur, you can actually introduce a calcium additive that we have that can give enough minerals in the water for the water to be ionized. Now, in the United States of America, that's usually not a problem because most places have very hard water, so that's not an issue. So again, for most people, this is something you don't have to mess with. If you do, though, they have the additive packets at Enagic, so you can contact them to find out more about that. All right, here's the next piece. This is the electrolysis enhancer tank. That's right below that plug, okay, the calcium cylinder. This is what you need to make the strong acidic water and the strong Kangen water, okay? Please keep in mind, those waters are not intended for consumption, okay? The electrolysis enhancer is actually, all it is saline. Hold on, let me jump back real quick. It's saline. It's water that has some salt in it, basically, and that's what's used to make that high 11.5 and that low 2.5. Now, some of the competition have said, oh, they put chemicals in their water. No, we don't put chemicals in our water. Not the stuff that we're drinking. It's straight. The only time that this is added is during the production of the 11.5 and the 2.5, neither of which are intended for consumption. Okay, so I just want people to understand that when this is added, it's not added all the time. It's very specifically added only during the production of that 2.5 and the 11.5. Okay. Now here's a little helpful hint for you if you're trying to make 11.5 and 2.5, and if you've been making 11.5 that's not emulsifying the oils for your demonstrations. Okay. What we were finding is people were filling their bottles and the gray hose for the 2.5, and they weren't keeping it low enough. They were actually raising it up, and what was happening is because you're doing it at such a slow rate, you're kind of doing it at a trickle because you want it to be as strong as possible. The water is going back into the machine and remixing again. And then when it's coming out, you don't have 11.5 and 2.5. You have a mixture of 11.5 and 2.5, which obviously is not going to do what it's intended to do. Okay? So you want to make sure that when you're filling the bottles, your bottles are below the bottom of the machine. Okay, that's an extremely important part, especially the gray hose. Make sure it's below the bottom of the machine, and that should help for people who have been having issues with making 11.5 that will emulsify the oils. Now again, here's the enhancer fluid. Now this is the thing that I want to address, okay? It's a saline solution. The ingredients are processed water, sodium chloride, and unfortunately these things are things that people can misconstrue, because if a person doesn't know what sodium chloride is, that sounds scary. That sounds like a really scary chemical. Well, sodium chloride is like table salt. If it's a scary chemical, well then, the next time you're at dinner, be careful because it's residing right next to the pepper. Okay? It's not scary. It's just sometimes things are spun to make them sound like they're something that they're not. Okay? So sodium chloride is common table salt. Here's another really scary one. Sodium hypochlorite. Now, what I want everybody to understand is what sodium hypochlorite is if you've ever heard people talking about tap water and that there's chlorine in tap water, the chlorine that's in that tap water is sodium hypochlorite. It's used to basically, it's as a food preservative and to help disinfect, water. So the next time somebody says, oh, it's got sodium hypochlorite, well, you can say, so does your tap water. So, yeah, what's the big deal? Because again, there are some people out there, especially competitors, that they know that they can't compete with our machine, so what they do is they try to spin things to basically misinform our customers. And you have to know that that's what's happening. And if you know these things, it's going to be a lot easier for you to be able to dispel these myths and rumors that these guys are putting out there, okay? So again, sodium chloride, nothing more than table salt. Sodium hypochlorite, it's the exact same chlorine that's basically in tap water. And again, it keeps it from going bad, is really what it's about. So if you need these bottles, you can get them from Enagic. I don't know if I have it on there. Hold on, let's see. No? Okay, hold on. So I'm sorry about that. But Enagic's the best place to get them. You can get them individually in threes, and you can get them in full cases. And cases are probably the best because you always want to have some on hand. If not for you, for your other distributors, especially if they're new. Okay? Because they're going to burn through it fast because they're getting used to it and they're experimenting with the 2.5 and the 11.5. Okay? All right, here's the next thing is the filter. The filters on our machines are 3-stage filtration. Okay, there's calcium sulfite, antibacterial granular, activated carbon, and there's a mechanical filter built into it. Now, there's two different grades. There's regular and there's high grade. What the difference is the high grade will actually take out heavy metals like lead and other heavy metals like that. Now, the price difference, I think the price difference is about $20. So for my money, I'd rather spend the $20 and make sure that there's no heavy metals in it. Is there heavy metals in my water? I don't know. If there were before, but I know for a fact there aren't now because I make sure I use the high-grade filters. So I do recommend that if people are going to buy the filters, you buy the high-grade. You need to buy the ones from Enagic too, okay? You want to watch for the annual sales. Unfortunately, they were in December. So if you're watching this right now, you unfortunately missed it. However, you want to look out for the one that's going to, they do it every December, so unless they're going to change something this year, you should plan ahead. And when the annual sale comes, you want to buy yourself a couple of filters. So you can not only save some money, but you can have filters available, because again, especially for other distributors or customers, it's just nice for you to do that for them and have that available to them when and if they need it. Because some people freak out when it says it needs a new filter. They don't know that there's still a little bit of life there, and that it's okay for probably a good 15 to 30 days, depending on how much water you're producing. So you don't want them to get panicky or anything. If you happen to have a new filter on hand, that's going to really help them out. Okay? All right. The next one is the e-cleaner. The e-cleaner is what we have available that we can manually clean our machines pretty much anytime we want now. Instead of having a full cartridge that's a one-time use and then you have to throw away the cartridge and it's the wasted plastic and everything else, Enagic actually created a reusable e-cleaner, which is awesome. So it's and you want to learn how to use this thing, because remember, keeping your machine clean is going to keep it, giving consistently good water, and that's what you want to do, because it's going to make your sampling efforts much more fruitful and much more beneficial for your customers. Okay, now I'm going to talk about a few tools and resources, because it's important, again, as distributors, it's important that we know about these things. So that was some information about the machine, and again, the best thing I think with the machine is just use it. Really use it. Get familiar with it. Don't be intimidated by it. Don't be scared by it. Just use it. Put it through its paces, and get comfortable with it. And that's going to make using the machine, much easier for you as you progress. Okay, now tools and resources. There's a lot of things out there. What we've tried to do is find the best of the best. Okay, we always recommend that. If you're a distributor, you own your own business, we say you should go out there and find what you want to use, okay? That's one of the things when you're a business owner that you do have the flexibility to do, okay? As long as you're not like a franchise owner, because then someone dictates to you what you have to do. This isn't that kind of scenario or that kind of business. You can choose what you want. So what we've done is we've found what we consider to be the best of the best, and this is what we personally recommend because it's what we personally use. So the Kangen Toolbox, there's some great brochures from our good friend Tony Mack, and he's done a fantastic job of putting together information, and people love his stuff. So if you're interested in finding out more about this, you can go to kangentoolbox.com, and you can get more information about the brochures that are available there. And then there's 6atools.com. Now, of all the different materials that are out there, the Kangen Toolbox and 6atools.com, pretty much the ones that we recommend the most. That's just, of everything else that's out there, this is pretty much what we recommend, because we know the quality of what's there, okay? There is tons of stuff available on 6atools.com. There are the adapters, there's the clean install, there's the Pat Boone videos, there's a ton of different brochures with all sorts of different ways to introduce the water, whether it be through athletics or, through brain function or for pets. There was just so many different ways. So make sure that you see, visit 6atools.com and see what they have to offer, okay? They have the new Doctor's DVD. If you haven't seen this, you need to make a point of seeing this, okay? Because this was a game changer for us when this was introduced. This took it from the information that was being presented, from it being, just, and there's no disrespect intended in what I'm about to say, okay? But for the most part, what we had were chiropractors and naturopaths, and it's not to say that they are not professionals and that they don't know what they're talking about, but in the big scheme of things, okay, public perception is what it is. And having that M and the D behind your name still carries a lot of weight with people. Even though the medical industry is, I don't even want to go down that path right now, but it's important to a lot of people. So what this video actually is MDs, DDS, it's actual doctors that the society recognizes as doctors. So it helped increase the credibility and the credentials of the overall project. Okay, so now you have the MD doctors, and then you have all those other, the chiropractors and then naturopaths and everybody else as a combination together. So now you have all this different information. So this one was a huge game changer when it was introduced. This is going to be a shameless plug for my very good friend Daniel, because this right here is phenomenal. It is an audio CD collection called Secrets to Success. It's Daniel talking about what allowed him to be a 7-figure earner in not only this, but in multiple different projects. You know, a lot of people think that some of these guys have, you know, they got real lucky. Well, he's gotten lucky quite a few times, man. So I want to rub up on him because it's like I want some of that luck to rub off on me. It's not luck. He knows what he's doing. And in this, he actually tells people what he does, some of his, you know, techniques and methods and, you know, direction that have served him very, very well. So I highly recommend people take a look at this and get yourself a copy, okay? I know that there's a special 24-hour offer from 68tools.com, so you might want to jot this down real quick so that after this is over, you can go ahead and take a look at this, okay? If you go on to the 68tools.com website for the next 24 hours, okay, and you use the discount code GLOBAL, GLOBAL, you'll receive 10% off anything that 68 Tools offers, including the pinpoint ORP meters, I mean, anything that they have. So, you know, you definitely, if you're going to be getting materials anyway, you might as well do it with some savings involved, okay? So make sure you check that out and see what might be there for your usage. Another tool that we want to talk about real quick are the events. You know, a lot of times distributors don't recognize events as tools that are available to them, but they are. That's exactly what they are. You know, we do the Hokkaido end of the month luncheon is coming up, last Saturday of the month here in Orange County. And if you attend that event is a tool for you, you know, because if you're the one hosting the event, then you know what it takes to put one of those together. So if you're just able to show up, pay a couple bucks, and be able to gain admittance for that, that's a tool, okay? That's being done, you know, the presentation's being done by the top guy in the entire Enagic organization, the #1 guy in the world right now. It's being, you know, hosted. The price point has been negotiated on your behalf, so it's actually lower than what it would be. Everything's being done for you. And so it really is a resource. So people have to understand that the events are resources that you really want to take advantage of. And if you don't have events in your area, start one. You be the one that coordinates it. Let me tell you, it has huge advantages if you're the one that does start it, okay? Another resource that people need to make sure they're checking into is the Enagic website. Okay, it's enagic.com. If you haven't gone to the site lately, you need to. You need to go over there and take a look at it, see what's there. It's very important you stay up to date and up to speed with what the company's doing on your behalf and for you, okay? So make sure that you do that. You've got kangenmeetings.com. We recommend if you're looking for a meeting in some area, maybe outside of California, you know, wherever your area might be, this should be the first place you stop by and take a look at kangenmeetings.com and see what's going on in your area. That's the best way. There's a new replicated website available through Enagic. It's enagicwebsystems.com. If you're looking for a personalized web presence and you want to have your own website, this is definitely a good option for you. But again, we recommend that you take a look at it and see if it is the right option for you. There's also the h2origin.com websites that are they're replicated sites that if you want to have a web presence, you can check, you know, take a look at one of these and see if this is the right one for you. You know, it's up to you. If that is something that's important to you, these are things that are available. Okay. The last website I'm going to talk about is the team website. That it's the kangen1info.com website, and this website has been created to you know, be a resource site for distributors. So a few things that we want you to know about. Okay, this is what the homepage kind of looks like, and usually up at the top area where the picture of the people are, in that area is usually going to be what's going on right now. Okay, what's happening right now. So that's kind of, you know, we want you to understand how to utilize the site. Off to the left-hand side, we got the new quick links area, and this is for usually the, you know, the most used links from the site. They're located over there, so you can go to the homepage and quickly find what you're looking for. Okay. All right, then there's the distributor resources section. There's all sorts of different distributor resources that are available there, and again, they've been put there for you, so you should be utilizing them. Now, in the distributor resource section, we've kind of highlighted that. It's the checkoutkangen.com link. That'll take you to a website called checkoutkangen.com. This is not a replicated website. This is simply an informational site that if you don't find the need to have a personalized web presence, you can send somebody here for general information. Now, you're going to have to do follow-up because this isn't one of those things where a person can put in information and get like these little auto sender things and documentation. This is just for some basic information, okay? So if you do send somebody here, you have to make sure that you do the follow-up because it's not going to be an automated follow-up. This is a site that anybody can send someone to. It's a safe site. There's no way, we don't have any place on there that collects information. So it was created for people who don't want to, spend the money on a replicated site. They don't really want to have a personalized web presence, but they would like to have a place where they can send people for some general information that's outside of the company's direct website. Okay? Okay, then there's this one. It's the new Ride the Wave book, and I'm going to plug this a little bit because it's my new book. I'm really proud of this too. This is about a year and a half's worth of work putting it together. It's about 3.5 years worth of information that's in this thing. It's now available, as a matter of fact, on the Kangen1info.com homepage. There's a link. Tonight's the last night for our discounted offer. After tonight, it's not going to be available from us anymore. They will be available on 6atools.com. But tonight is the last night. So if you want to take advantage of the discount that's being extended, go to Kangen1info.com and just click on the link, and you'll see exactly what that is, okay? This is also something that's new. There's a new distributor resource website. It's called KangenDistributorResources.com. And basically, it's exactly what it says it is. It is a resource website. It's not a replicated website. It's a website for you to go to as a distributor and have the best of the best resources at your disposal. Okay. Now, it is a subscription-based site because everything's changing and there's actually stuff going on that is creating cost to be able to run the site. And so to offset them, there's a small subscription fee of $9.99 a month. Because you're on this tonight, you're going to be given a 7-day trial. At the end of tonight's presentation, you're going to be redirected to a page that has the username and password for the 7-day trial. So if you want to check this out, stay on after this presentation for just a couple of minutes and then jot that information down, okay? So again, if you want to use the free 7-day trial that's being made available only to the people on tonight's presentation, then make sure that you stay on afterwards, okay? All right, and coming soon, this is really big. This is something we've been working on for a long time. It's the Kangen One On-Demand online training seminars. Now, what these are is a series of different trainings that are conducted by top people in this business, very successful people in this business, and it covers a variety of different information. What you have to understand is that this is not... What we do with the basics are share the water and share information, talk to people about the opportunity if it applies to them, and promote our events. That's really the basics, but there's a lot more to it than that. There is a lot more to it than that. And those other trainings are the things that are the lot mores. It's going to teach you how to do all these other things. It's going to help you really become successful and it's going to take your success to a different level. Okay? All right, that's my information for tonight. Now, the next person who's going to be up here, extremely knowledgeable in this business, extremely successful in this business. He is part rock star, part comedian. I think he's more rock star. He thinks he's funnier than he actually is, but he's, no, in all seriousness, this guy, he knows his stuff. He's a wealth of knowledge in not only this, but in business in general. He's been very, very successful, actually, in anything he ever does. So I'm going to bring up Michael Kinnett, who's going to talk to you about mastering what we do and really, how to get started really good, especially if you're a brand new person. So give me just a second. I'm going to switch this over to Michael. He'll be up in just a minute, so please stand by. Now you want to use this and just click that.
Okay.
You're on.
Okay, hello everybody, and do not adjust your set. This is how I really look. So tonight, Danny asked me to come down and do a training about what do we do with our people. And I got to tell you, I talk fast, so you might want to take notes and write this stuff down pretty fast. But some of the information we're going to get when I was watching Danny's slides, there's a lot of information the same, but there's a lot of brand new information because we take the approach that some people want to know why the water works. And so we have a whole different presentation that we use, and it's similar to what other people are doing. And like I'm saying, there's a lot of ways to do this, but he asked me to share what we're doing with our people. So let me see if I can get these slides going here and get this started. So I'm going to do some real obvious stuff. Think on paper. Write down names of people that you think of. Don't just keep them in your head. How much income do I want? What size team do I need to make that happen? And in the beginning, you won't know really what that means, but as you start building your business, you certainly will. How much time do I have? That's a big one. A lot of people are time challenged. They just don't know really, is this an hour a day, an hour a year? But I got to tell you, if you treat it like a business, not just something casual, you're going to have a much better success rate in this business. And what kind of resources are available? Do I have any money? Do I have no money? Do I know someone that, a pastor of a church that has hundreds of people at their disposal? So think of those as different resources because those pastors are trying to help their flock, and this is a good way to help a lot of people physically. It's like a puzzle, and tie something you want to your success. Now, I'm not recommending you say, gee, when I hit 4 a.m. I'm going to get a Rolls Royce. Make these realistic things that something you want, delay your gratification, and then get this going. Now, you need in your toolbox to communicate well. If you're not a speaker or a talker, then nobody gets A's in everything. If you can find somebody who has a strength that you're weak in, then that's the way to do this. And so my wife says there's a lid for every pot. So just try to find where that lid fits. Find that guy and find that lid. Size people up. Have her develop some people skills. It certainly helps if you're not afraid of people. Be organized. Business skills are helpful. Be a get-it-done person. If you've ever met Danny Dimacale in person, you will know he really is a get-it-done person. And I'm sitting here in his office, and he has this wonderful new trophy for being #1 in the world in Enagic. I don't care who you are, man. That's #1. That's just fantastic. And tonight, have a plan. I'm going to give you a plan tonight, and this will fit some of you perfectly. Others, you may not like this, but we're going to just go down and tell you what we do and how we do it. So we need to identify key people for your team. Now, you know that means you must work with others. And unfortunately, that ruins this for a lot of people. But working with people is certainly easy to do if you have a plan. Look for credibility and influence. Who do you know that knows somebody? Who do you know that's respected? Think about those people. People that generally have a passion for what they do. Who is excited? Who can get excited? So look for those who have what you lack. That's that nobody gets A's everything. My wife and I, we're similar in a lot of ways, but in a lot of ways we're just totally opposites. I can't stand doing paperwork, balancing a checkbook. Those things drive me insane. And on the other hand, she's good on stage, but put me in front of people training, I love that. So find somebody as a partner that you can team up with, and they have what you lack. Develop 2 different presentations. Now, I have a business presentation and an opportunity presentation. So, a health and an opportunity. On my DVD, go to my website, futurefoundationwater.com. I have a DVD that goes through the biological aspects of what happens inside your body when you drink this water. And it's Enagic approved. They've got the seal of approval on it. But when you show the DVD, when it's over, people understand what happens inside your body. What does your pancreas do? What does water have to do with your pancreas? How come people are getting sick? How come all these degenerative diseases have the same cause? But the DVD ends and it does not show the compensation plan. So that's the opportunity, that's a presentation that we show for people who have health issues. If you continue to let the DVD run for 60 seconds after it goes dark, the opportunity shows up. So you have the ability to use the same DVD for health or for people who want to have more income in their business. Now, this water is going to help you 2 ways, physically and financially. And so everybody has one of those needs, so find that need and fill it by using that information on there. So you can get that DVD at futurefoundationwater.com. So attitude's important, and Daniel talked about this, so I'm not going to belabor that. And then also, when you make your list, you're going to break it down into two types. I've got entrepreneurs, and I got people who have health issues. So who has diabetes is pretty easy to find. Ask anybody if they know who has diabetes, and the answer is probably, yeah, me, or my brother, or my mother. But entrepreneurs are different. Entrepreneurs, they're a special breed. Now, a lot of people want to own their own business, but I'm looking for someone who's got the internal drive to make it happen, which means they get up and they're motivated on Wednesday like they were on Monday, which they were on Saturday. Every day they have their own self-starting mechanism, but I'm going to separate my list into those two different groups. I'm also looking for track record. Who's been successful? Who's spoken in front of groups? And that's why I mentioned, like ministers, preachers. Those guys, they're not shy. They're already helping people. Very consistent and predictable. Become good at asking questions and sensitive to the answers. If you're just doing all the talking and not listening, you're not understanding that they have to hear. They have to be able to speak to you so you can internalize that. Ask people in related fields for referrals. Who do you know that's the best in your business? Who do you know that's the best insurance guy? Ask them. Do your homework. Who's looking? Now, we found great success with real estate people, mortgage people, builders and developers, because those guys have been dealing with a lot of money their past several years. They've been looking for a product. They're hoping the real estate market comes back. They hope the building boom continues or comes back. But those guys have sales skills. They have drive and tenacity. They just don't have a product. They haven't got a business. And so those are the guys we're out looking for. So 9 out of 10 people that I talk to, they're easy to get their attention. They're the backbone of all large organizations. They're great at planning, reliable, they're always working. They help set up, they tear things down, easy to give them directions. Others like them, organize things. They want to be part of your team, and you need these people to build your group. You really need them. So don't discard anybody. You're not saying, oh, I'm sorry, you're not qualified. But hard work for team recognition. Here's the guy you're really looking for, the 1 out of 10. They're called self-starters. And I love this picture. It's a picture of a guy pulling that chain. He gets up and pulls his own chain in the morning. And they're high-action people. They're task-oriented. Short attention span. You can't keep their attention they're almost ADD. They just, what? And when I sponsor these guys, they're fun, but you've got to really be fast because they've left your conversation seconds ago. Hard to get their attention, man. Not high tolerance for pain or frustration. Must have your total attention. Get them into action mode right away. They must make income or you're going to lose them. So you have to have a plan when you get these guys, these self-starters. You can't just do the la-di-da thing. You've got to be Johnny on the spot. Here I am. We're going to make this happen. And here's one of the things that we're going to bring up to you. Now, other people, all the rest of the people you talk to, I use those like pointers. Who do you know? They're like bird dogs. It's all about timing for your prospects. And we have on my website, there's a training class called New Person Orientation. So our new people, that when we sponsor them, we get them this book, this New Person Orientation, and it talks about window shopping. We're shopping for people whose window of opportunity is open. And briefly, if someone just got a promotion at their job and you say, hey, I've got this really fantastic opportunity, they're not looking. Their window's closed. But if someone just lost their job and you say, man, I'm looking for some really great entrepreneurs, do you know any? Yeah, me. So we have scripts that we can help you identify the people whose windows are looking, they're open, they're ready to build a business. Because Danny and I were talking downstairs tonight that, I'm trying to, my goal is to sponsor 5 new people a month, And Danny and I, we have the similar goal, and we know that all 5 of those people each month, 60 people a year, they're not all going to set the stage on fire. Some people will do it and some people won't. But we know if we can find 10 good people out of that, that's worth a lot of money. That's worth a lot of lives. People are going to change by those 10 people doing something fantastic. So is their window open? In your group, you don't have to look for leaders. They're looking for you. And make sure your people can find you. Answer the phone every time it rings. I can't tell you how many times. I don't know how you stay in business if you don't answer the phone. Answer the phone. So it's one of those things. That's like the basic ingredient for making money here, but to build a business. But there's 3 skills, and you saw this slide. Talk about the opportunity, share the water, build and sell events. Now, Danny puts share the water number 1. I put it number 2. I want you to talk about the opportunity. Not, oh my gosh, can you make a lot of money? I want you to have a conversation that lends that person to ask you what it is you do. If you can get someone to ask you what you do without you having to be, oh, let me tell you how great this is. Let me chase you down the block. Oh, wait, you'll love this. That's the wrong thing. You want to have a different effect to make this happen. So here, basics. Talk to everyone about the results of the water. And then I say I'm a molecular hydration specialist. Now, you can be a molecular hydration specialist. In fact, we're having a molecular hydration school this year so we can get you certified. But it's easy for you to put I'm a molecular hydration specialist on your card so that when someone asks you for your card, it doesn't say distributor. It says molecular hydration specialist. And here's how it goes. I ask someone what they do in the window shopping technique. They tell me. I ask them how long they've been doing it. They say 5 years. I go, wow, 5 years? As sharp as you are, you must be running the place by now. And if they're not running the place or they hate their job, they're going to tell you, and that's the guy whose window's open. And then I'm silent. I look at them, and I'm trying to get them to say, what do you do? If I can get someone to ask me what I do, I got it. I say I'm a molecular hydration specialist. I work with people to reverse their degenerative disease. Things like fibromyalgia, lupus, diabetes, GERD, gout, that sort of thing. And what we do is we import a medical device that we attach to the cold water line in someone's home, and it's like the hydrogen car, the new technology. This machine separates the hydrogen in the water from the oxygen. And you know, when you separate hydrogen from oxygen, you change the molecular structure. That changes the pH or the homeostasis in someone's body, and the body can heal itself. Do you know anybody with a degenerative disease? Now, that little script, I said it fast, but if you can learn that, which is something I teach all my people right away. I'm a molecular hydration specialist. I work with people to reverse degenerative disease, on and on. That script becomes your mantra wherever you go. And I can tell you, everybody wants to talk to you if you're a molecular hydration specialist. They've never heard of it. They don't know what it is. You're helping people get well, and they probably have a mother or brother or sister or themselves that's been dealing with arthritis for years. They've tried every drug, every chemical. And you know, when you take narcotics or drugs for your aches and pains, that's like buying a house that has termite damage and you don't replace the wood before you sell it. You just paint over it. The damage is continuing. The body's degenerating. It's getting worse. So, once again, show the presentation DVD and ask for an opinion. So before you know who you are, I'm a molecular hydration specialist, get the DVD, show the presentation, and ask for an opinion. What do you like about it? Do you know anyone with degenerative disease? Use your memory jogger. When they tell you, make a list. Invite guests to bring guests to live demos. Invite guests to webinar online presentations. And I got that last one here kind of messed up, but the website's futurefoundationwater.com, and I recommend you go take a look at the products. There's a lot of things to help a new guy get going. Now I'm going to brush through these. When I make my list, I categorize them. My business-minded, my first 10 people I'm working with, and then the family and friends. Some people find them easy. I found them hard. My family pretty much all rejected it until my oldest daughter got sick. She ended up in the hospital, and finally they paid attention, and now my families all have their own machines. So it's a different thing, but this is called work the numbers. Identify your top 10, work the numbers. Get 3 to get 3 is 4560. I'm going to show you how this works. Now some will, some won't, so what? Next, but take a look at this. You know the company has divided the compensation, the marketing cost of this machine into 8 equal pieces. Each piece is worth $285. That's 1 point. Danny talked about the points tonight. But here's how you start the business. So we start somebody out, we say, I want you to get in, and in your first 30 days, I want you to get your first 3 people. So Mary, John, and Jane. Now what happens is, Mary is new, John, Jane are all new. They don't know what to do, so they're looking to you for help. And so what you're going to do is you're going to say, look, I give my new people, here's a 10-pack of DVDs. I want you to show at least one person a day who hasn't seen this water, this DVD, one a day. It's like a vitamin. Show this to one person a day. And what happens is, by the end, so that first person's worth $285, and then the third person's worth $570. But right now, the company has a contest. The third person's worth $855. So it jumps dramatically. The game plan's afoot. So the companies increase the incentive to get that third person right away. Now, once I've got 3 people, once again, I'm going to help those 3 people get their 3 people. So Mary gets hers, John gets his, and Jane gets hers. Now, I'm not putting people underneath them. These are all their friends. I'm looking for fresh people, myself. They have a group of friends they know, their mother, their brother, their sister. And I'm going to talk about how they talk to their friends, but once again, we have a script in our new person book of what do you say to family, which is different than what do you say to a stranger. Two different conversations. But you can see, when you do this simple program, this takes you 2 months, that's still 45, 60 for you helping these people. Because look at number 3, Jane, every time she sells a machine, you get 570. So obviously, you want to get that third person in, which is now 855, so it goes up dramatically. Now, here, once you do the same exact thing to 3A, 4A, 5A, when you're a 6A, guess what happens? As a 6A, you're going to get 1710. So you get Kathy, you help Kathy, she's brand new, she doesn't know anything what's going on, she gets a new person orientation book, and now you help her get her first 3. And then you help them get their first 3, but as a 6A, instead of making 4,500, now you're over 22,000 that month. It's an incredible plan, and you do the same thing again and again and again, so you can see why we want to get 50, 60 new people a year, so we can find those people that just take this to the moon. And I'm sorry, this got messed up here. I just want you to see the power of one. If you will sponsor one person a month, at the end of 1 month, you've got one person. And so if both of you go out the next month and sponsor one each, now you have 3. The third month, everybody sponsors just one more, that's 7, then 15. You can see by the end of 6 months, you've got 63 people. You think, I'm not doing very well. By the month 7, everybody sponsors one guy a month, 127, 255. At the end of the year, you've got over 4,000 people in your organization. And I got to tell you, at month 7, you've already hit 6A. It only takes 101 to get 6A, and you got 127 by month 7. And I've got a guy who did that out in Michigan. I'm telling you, his name's Delton, and he took the DVD. He's a bricklayer. He owned a construction company. Nobody's building anything in Michigan except Delton. He's now 6A2, and he did it in his first 7 months by just showing that DVD and then following up with the water. So, once again, have a prospect, try the water. Tell your story, try the water. Provide information, try the water. Online presentations, try the water. And I say, here's what I say. Watch the presentation DVD and then try the water. I'll give you a 21-day free trial, 3 weeks, but this is a medical device. And that's our company policy. I can't give you Kangen water until you watch the DVD. I wouldn't give you a loaded gun without teaching you how to shoot it. And the same applies with this water. Now, I got to tell you, this is not a company Enagic policy. It's my company policy, my company's Future Foundation. So I train people. You see, I gave away a lot of water in the beginning. I was so discouraged when I first started. I gave away water to everybody in the planet. I had water. I was delivering it in my BMW, and they were calling me the water boy, and I didn't care, man. I was going to set the world on fire. I couldn't get anybody to get a machine. Suddenly I went, you know what? In my particular case, I have to add knowledge before I give them the water. So then I tell them all about it, tell my story, give information. I tell them how great it is, then they say, do you want to try it? Sure. Well, listen, this is a medical device. It's our company policy. I can't give you the water until you watch the DVD. I wouldn't give you a loaded gun. So that's how I get people to say, okay, I'll watch the DVD because I want to get this water because they've heard the stories you told about what happened to you and your friends. Now, are they trying the water? Now what do you do? Refill. Did you get lightheaded? When they get the water the first day, the next day you got to say, did you get lightheaded? Call them. How much are you drinking? Are there any interesting intestinal changes? And you guys know what I'm talking about. Remember, no soda, no sports drinks, no diet anything, no diet Coke, no diet iced tea, no diet salad dressing. Drink more water. Finish your container and get fresh water. Drop off the empty and pick up fresh water every 3 days. Now, on the right-hand side of that picture, I don't deliver the water. I have people come pick it up. 3 gallons every 3 days for 21 days. And then if they're not picking it up for their friends, something's not right. I want them to pick up their water, show the DVD to somebody who hasn't seen it, and pick up water. I had a new guy in my business today. He filmed one of my DVDs, my new training. We have a new acid alkaline 3-hour training DVD, which once again we just put it on the website. Came out great. But the guy who filmed my DVD, he knew nothing about the water. After he was editing the DVD, he called me and said, I want a machine, and I got 3 sold. So just exposing people to what's going on. And now he came over today, he picked up 3 6-gallon containers, 3 9.5s, 3 8.5s, because I start my people in 8.5, but you can see that's how this is going. Now I got to get moving here because my times are about up. But how to grow. Are they ready to order? Your job is not just to give people water for the rest of your life. Get hints. I'm going by the Enagic office. Want me to drop off your order? You've had great results. Are you ready for your own machine? When you become a distributor, a few sales pay for your entire unit. Here's how I say this, guys. Here's my closing line. You need to get started. You need to get a machine. The machine costs $39.80. Can you handle that now in your credit cards, or do you need to use the company finance plan? So that's how you do it. And if they say, well, I can't afford it, say, have you got a couple of cards? Because the company will take multiple credit cards to get one order, and that way they can pay it off at their convenience. But get them to order the machine. So there's the line. Can you handle that now? Do you need their credit card plan? Now, one of the free samples over. Now this varies, but if people are still picking up water, if they're trying to arrange financing, if they're waiting for an income tax return, they can still get the water. I always have at least 10 to 15 active people picking up water from my home. I track their water power, their length of time they're on it, and their results. I track who they have on the water, who they're bringing to their meetings. Now, if they're not bringing people to meetings, they're not picking up water for anybody else, you probably have one of the 9 of the 10 people, not that self-starter guy. But you're going to track who they're sharing it with, track who they're passing it out, their own DVDs. So when I start a new guy, I give them a 10-pack of DVDs and go say, pass these out and follow up. And if they don't follow up, I'll call them with you. Who's scheduling their in-home presentation? If none of this is happening, that's when the trial samples are over. Adios, amigo. In other words, they've got to be showing me they're willing to drive to pick it up. They want to work. They want to make this happen. They're getting results. They're off the diet sodas. They're doing all the stuff. And so I'm training someone before they even have their machine how to build their own downline, which is wonderful for them. Number 3 skill, promote events. Don't be the Lone Ranger. Danny talked about this. I'm telling you, they say they're too expensive, they're too far, I can't do it, I'm having birthday parties. Stop taking excuses and drag your people to meetings, because you get them in front of Dr. Horst Filter and you get them in front of Hironari Yoshiro. I mean, you get these people in front of Bobby Gridelli, and it's, Eli, there's just no way they can resist that group dynamic. It's off the books. Remember, your objective as an Enagic distributor is to create a profitable business through retail sales of Enagic products to improve their health and their wealth. It's not to be a free source of time and water for everyone you know. You need to know when to stop with unproductive prospects and move on to new ones. Some will, some won't. So what? They will be back. If they get off the water, they're going to call you in 3 or 4 months and say, I got to have that water. This thing came back. That whatever I had is back. How do I solve it? Say, that's pretty easy. Let's get you on the water. Let's find a way to get you a machine. You got to get started. You got to get a machine. And once again, Danny covered this: the person that shares the most water, the organization that shares the most, and the team that has the most people organizations. They're the people who actually make the most income and have the most fun too. I can tell you that. Obviously, you've seen that slide, but you haven't seen this. Danny and the company, we put on there's some fantastic events that he puts on, and his boat, if you haven't been on his boat parade, that's just awesome. It's going to knock you out. You got to go to that. And then the key to making your Enagic business successful is doing the simple things consistently, and then anything worth doing is worth doing wrong until you get it right. So go do your worst, and we will meet you at the top. And back to Danny. Okay, thank you guys. See you later. Oops. The website? FutureFoundationWater.com.
By the way, Michael, the presentation booklet that he was talking about is now in Spanish. He didn't mention that. I wanted to mention that just in case you're working the Spanish market. If you go to FutureFoundation.com, you'll be able water. FutureFoundationWater.com. You'll be able to pick up this presentation booklet and let your people know about it. All the tools are always great, okay? All right, I'm going to close this out real quick. Put your pens on turbo. In planning your year, okay, plan by the month. Make sure you have your checkpoints. That's every quarter. Identify your can't-miss events. Put them down now. The events you don't want to miss. I'll give you an example. In Southern California, we have an event, Hokkaido. if you bring somebody there in these executive luncheons, the chances are in the high 90% that they will be coming into business. So, you know, you don't want to miss those events. And also, focus on the current month. And by the way, the year is going to go fast. I'm going to tell you this, and I said this last year. You're going to blink, it's going to be Valentine's Day. You're going to blink again, Easter's coming. Okay, St. Patrick's Day, Oshiro's birthday they're going to be talking about. All of a sudden, blink again, 4th of July, and then Halloween, and then before you know it, Christmas decorations. Okay, you know the way it works. This is not the first time you've been to the rodeo. So understand, okay, it's going to go very, very fast. So focus on the current month and work the current month right now. As a matter of fact, work this week. And to have your best year ever, you got to be connected. Get your day runner. Go get if you can't afford one, go to the bank and ask them for a calendar. They'll give you one. You need a track to run on, and some of these training classes make a good track. Your checkpoints for your accountability, and then go to all the motivational functions. I mean, there's so many of them out there, and write down your goals. And you know what? Get it going now, because especially 2011, it's the first year of the decade. It is the first domino. All right? Make sure you have a plan, and get your education from the people that are doing it. All right? And here, I'm going to give you this. Pay yourself first. I've been saying this all the time. Every time you get a check, go put $5. Go get $5 in cash the first time, then 10, then 20, whatever you're comfortable in getting. The worst thing you can do is cash your check or deposit it, because it's all going to go to bills, and you don't pay yourself first. Get $10 out of it, and get yourself a little cigar box where you put your 10 and 50s, and watch what happens, okay? So work smart this year, all right? Now, little hint on building. First of all, are you building foundation or framework? What materials are you building with? Michael talked about this. Make sure you have a blueprint and find out, are you building width or depth, and what's the difference? All right? And when is your job finished? In other words, when is your job finished with a person? Do you stay with them for a year, 2 years? How long are you going to keep supporting someone? Remember your framework blueprint, okay? Your directly sponsored people as your foundation. And I'm going to tell you this. The stability of your entire network depends on your foundation. I'm going to give you my personal, okay? My foundation is so strong. Take a look at my frontline distributors. Dr. Lee, Al Dorsey, Jerry Costiga, Michael Canet, Antonella Bianchini from Italy, Leo Abril, Joe Florence, Tony Mack. Take a look at some of that foundation. Tim Robinson. There's just so many of them. They're all Bob Richardson. Can you imagine some of my frontline? All right, and by the way, what you want to do is you want to route the levels so that below them there are people that are working the business. So that's your framework. And the stability and strength of your organization is dependent upon the foundation. The framework is the guts, okay? They'll fill themselves up. And when we say anchoring, that means that whenever you sponsor somebody, take a look at it there. When you sponsor someone, anchor below it. In other words, don't just go to them, okay? Make sure you go to you know who their top people are, and you know who the people below them are, because you create a relationship, and it doesn't matter if the top guy goes, the bottom still continues to be, it's rooted. So make sure you're anchoring, okay? Now, let me show you two things real quick. Depth building and looking for winning. Okay? Whenever you sponsor someone, there's you, and you sponsor A, alright? Make sure that you go and help A with their top people. The reason is because they don't know what to do yet. Alright?
So try and go below your A and look for the stars below, and those are the ones you work with. And sometimes they're not in the first level, they're below that. Right? You've gotta, you create support, communication, encouragement, and motivation with A. That's what you do. But you gotta go below them. I'm telling you right now. Because if you don't, sometimes if A leaves, the whole building falls. You don't want that to happen. Now, you want to build it real strong. When A gets their B, their frontline people, okay, go below them and start looking for the stars. Once the organization becomes big, 15, 20, 30, start working with the stars. Identify who they are, and those are the ones that's going to continue to do the business below you. So that's how you do depth building. Okay, you got to look for the stars below, but before that, make sure that you're working below your frontline people. All right. Next, 20% is for width. Here's your time. Sharing the water, 10 to 20%. Organization development, 80 to 90%. In building mode, width 20%, depth 80%. You're going to build wide if you're going 20% wide, okay? So again, width for profit, depth for security. Write that down. When you're going wide, it's always for profit. Where you're going depth, it's always for security. All right? Suggestions. That list Michael was talking about, he said, some will, some won't, so what next? Go through it real fast. And remember, the pace of the leader is always the pace of the organization. And basically, depth doesn't happen. It's got to be created. So if you're going to do that, you're leading by example, and your group will do it. As far as looking for winners, you want to go upwards. Here's a chart real quick, okay? Take a look at this chart. It's a 1 to 10 chart. Some people say they're a 10, I've got an 8. When somebody comes to me, I always go upwards. I always try to look for the top people in their organization. Who are the builders? Who are the Eli's? Who are the Bob Gradellis? And who are the Dr. Daves in there? Who are the Gary Ashes in there? Okay? You want to look for the people that are going to do the business, and you're looking for them that are contacts of people. Who do they know that's entrepreneurs? Okay? Let me tell you this, okay? 5s hang around with 5s. 1s hang around with 1s. 8, 9s, and 10s hang around with 8, 9s, and 10s. If you're going to build your organization, which of the numbers would you take? Okay? So you want to sponsor upwards and look upwards, okay? And once you sponsor someone, take a look at the box on the bottom. Once you bring someone into business, plug them in, get them involved. Don't just put them outside like a piece of coal. You got to get them in the middle of the barbecue so they start heating up, okay? If they go to the right by themselves, they're going to die. Plug them in. Have them share the water with people. Show them how to do it, and then have them host the demonstration, hopefully if they can. Get their guests to an event, maybe an executive luncheon. If you can't get their people to do a demo at their house, go get them their people and bring them to the executive luncheon. Identify who the doers are in their group, okay, and then start all over again. Whoever is sponsored, plug them in and keep going up that chart. See, if you're looking for winners, you got to move upwards, because the normal thing is the bank president sponsors the vice president sponsors the treasurer sponsors the secretary sponsors the teller sponsors the guard sponsors the custodian sponsors the the gardener outside. I mean, look at it. It's going downwards. You're going to build an organization of 1, 2s, and 3s. You want 8, 9s, and 10s. Why? Because those people, you basically let them go, and they're going to do their own stuff. They're all over Enagic. You can identify them. So, you know what? Look for winners, okay? Key points. Your primary goal. Your primary goal is to build an organization that's thriving without you. The stability and strength is dependent on the foundation. Look for the finest materials out there, root and secure by anchoring, and then move on and to continue to build. And if you're going to build a massive production organization, productive, okay, understand that this is a journey, what you're doing. Your mission in this journey, you need to find people whom this is the right thing for them to be doing. You cannot talk everybody into doing this thing. Gotta look for people and no one else, and survive the process of wading through the sea of wrong people. Right? You got some in your organization. I've had some. Okay? That's your mission. You're gonna build and look for people. This is the right thing for them to be doing. Okay? Again, your mission, two of them. One, find people in all of the mess of the wrong ones that are right. Two, you need to know what to do with them when they say yes. You know, if they say yes, I want to do this business. Are you like, I mean, you got to know what to do. You got to know where to go, how to plug them in, and the way you do that is through the training. All right? And remember this, all the top people, they have a lot of different groups. Bob Godelli's group is big because he's got groups everywhere. You know, Eli's group is big because he's got people everywhere. I know, because I have people everywhere, and my top guys have people everywhere. It's just like a small organization, or big and small organizations. Just like, you know, the Catholic organization. It's not one person doing it all. The Pope has his bishops, the bishops have their cardinals, the cardinals have their priests, you know the deal. You know, military have their generals, the generals have their colonels. You know, it can't be the general doing everything. That's the same with you, all right? And if you want to study the biggest and largest organization, it started with this dude who sponsored 12 people. That's all he did. He had 12 frontline people. All right, and not all of them went 6A, by the way. All right, they had no sales experience, none of them. They all come from different types of things, but the main thing is they were really weird and they were passionate. What they did have is they had a strong belief in what they were doing. And today, this is the largest organization that I know of on earth. All right, and it took them time. Look at how long it took them. They went from village to village telling their story, right? Sort of giving the water, except they were telling their story. And they had a hard time because in their times, if the government didn't like them, they would hang them. I mean, at least they don't do that to us today, all right? But today, you have more contact power than that guy back then, you know, and he had a white robe, long hair, beard, you know, the whole shot. Some of you are going to get this in a little while, but he has the largest organization, all right? And like, not all of them became big, right? One of them went to ASEA. So again, make sure that you understand the mission. You understand it takes little groups to become big, and you have to understand you don't need a lot of people, okay? Remember all the things about the top builders that I know, all the $1 million earners that I know in different programs. They all have two things in common. Some of these people are old, young, white, black, Asian. Some of them drive Ferraris, some of them drive trucks. Some of them live in big homes, some of them are no. I mean, they're all different. The one common denominator between all of them, two things. One, they're focused on one project, every one of them. Two, longevity. They stuck to it. Let me ask you guys something, okay? Take a look at the top businesses you know, top restaurants. Longevity, they're focused on one thing. You know, something like, you know, Villanova in Newport Beach. Longevity, and they're focused on Italian food. They didn't go Chinese and then went to, like, you know, South African and Ethiopian and Filipino. No, they stuck with Italian. Okay, take a look at a marriage. Name me 10 marriages you know that are successful. Look at the common denominator between all of them. Longevity, right? And focused. One. So again, I'm just letting you know, because if you're going to be successful, understand the common denominator. And the first law of building, all right, don't recruit anyone you have to drag across the finish line. So look for your aces. It's like shopping for shoes. If it's the wrong pair, just leave it there and go look for another one. All right. Second, say no first. Don't every single time. Don't be, if somebody's gonna, if you think somebody's gonna say it's expensive, let them know it's expensive before they do. Beat them to the punch. All right. And sometimes let them know this may not be for you. This is for entrepreneurs with an open mind that know health and finance. It's not for everybody. So your winning trump card in all this thing that I'm talking about, your commitment to your own success. And I'll close this out tonight by asking you this. Between Jerry, Michael, myself, and everyone involved in this, okay, that are successful, let me ask you this. If not this, what else is out there for you? What are you going to do? You're going to do Melaleuca? You're going to go to ASEA? What are you, nuts? You're going to go to, what are you going to do? You're going to go start your own business? You're going to give up? You're going to look for something better than this? No, there's none better. So again, if not this, what? You gotta, if not now, when are you going to do it? What, 2014? What's a good year? How about 2018? Now is the best time. It's the first domino. It's going to take you 10 more years to get to the first domino again. So again, right now is the best. And if not you, who's going to do it for you? If you look at all the top earners in this business, it's them that's doing it. No one else. They don't count on anybody else. Yeah, they got some great people in the business, but you know what? If any of those people died, these top earners would still move forward because they're the ones that do it for them. You are the main factor that's going to make it go for you or not. So go with this. This is a great program. I intend on making this, getting the most I can out of this. And I thank everyone, by the way, for coming on tonight. And our next meeting is next month.